This time of year, you might be looking around your yard having visions of a wonderful home orchard in mind. And as you get catalogs in and start laying plans for spring, we want to help you make choices that'll help you have success with growing fruit. You know, here in Oklahoma, it's really tough sometimes to get a good fruit crop, especially off of peaches and the other stone fruits, because of the heavy insect and disease pressure. And what I want to do right now is go down the list of fruit from those that are easiest to grow down to the most challenging and give you a few tips on picking them out, such as rootstocks and varieties that will help you have success in having a nice home fruit planting. Well, let's start off with blackberries. That's pretty much a no-fail fruit. There are thornless and thorny types available. If you're going to go with thornless, possibly the new thornless erect types that require no trellising would be the thing for you in your backyard. Those are developed by Dr. J.N. Moore over at University of Arkansas. Navajo and Arapaho are the two varieties that you might want to plant of those thornless blackberries. Arapaho is a little bit earlier than Navajo, so if you have trouble with fruit getting a little too hot or sunburned, you might want to go with Arapaho instead. Now with thorny blackberries, keep in mind that all blackberries require pretty severe pruning, but thorny blackberries especially have to be managed well, but they are worth it for the flavor. One of our favorites out here, and it's one that consistently gets picked clean, is Womack. That's a thorny variety from Texas, delicious flavor. Well, over in the strawberry bed, we also have a consistent variety favorite out here, and that's Early Glow strawberry. Now the Early Glow is the earliest of the varieties, but it's best known for its outstanding flavor. For a good mid-season strawberry, you might try Sure Crop or Cardinal. Now Cardinal is a shipping strawberry. Very beautiful red color, glossy berries, but not quite as intense a flavor as that Early Glow variety. But strawberries are probably my second choice on the list of fruits that are easy to grow, don't take much space, and consistently will give you fruit out in the garden. Well, how about blueberries next? Blueberries take a little bit longer time to get established than, say, blackberries. They have no thorns in any case, however. They do require some good soil preparation. And if you want to pick good blueberry varieties, you want to make sure that you choose northern high bush types. And the varieties such as Blue Ray, Blue Crop, or Collins all have wonderful flavor and grow very well here in Oklahoma. And with blueberries, keep in mind they're a cousin to azaleas. They need full sun, but they have to have azalea type soil, so make sure you add peat moss and sand. Keep them well drained, but keep them mulched with even moisture throughout the summertime. After blueberries, the last small fruit we want to mention are grapes. Now grapes will grow well most anywhere, but the fruit harvest can be somewhat disappointing. Concord grapes are one that a lot of people like to grow, but in certain parts of Oklahoma they don't ripen evenly. If you like a blue-black slip skin like that has a rich Concordy flavor, try Fredonia instead. It will really produce well for you here. Now don't forget some of those delicious seedless grape varieties that are available through, again, University of Arkansas research efforts. Reliance is a pink grape that gives outstanding grape juice if that's what you're after. Some other varieties such as Venus is a blue-black seedless grape, and look for some others as well that will do well here in Oklahoma thanks to those breeding efforts over in Arkansas. Well, let's move on down to something that's also pretty easy to grow in the tree fruit department, and that would be pears. Pears are pretty trouble-free, and part of that is the fruit is very hard. And so for that reason, it's not plagued by pests quite as much as apples and peaches and plums might be. Now with pear varieties, you want to make sure that the rootstock you choose is one that's adapted for here. And there is a hybrid rootstock called Old Home times Farmingdale. Sometimes it'll say OHXF on the listing in the catalogs. That's an outstanding pear rootstock for here. So far as pear varieties go, you want to make sure you select one that is fire blight resistant. Remember, fire blight is the bacterial disease that causes a burnt look to the twigs or the ends of stems. It looks like someone lit a match to the tree. It's very hard to control. You can use bacterial sprays, but it's better to go with a resistant variety for good selection. Harold's Delight is a variety that is practically grit-free, so it's going to be a soft, melting pear, should be resistant to fire blight. Varieties like Maxine and Moonglow are also resistant and should grow well here in Oklahoma. Well, what about apples? When everybody thinks about putting in a home orchard, they always visualize having some apple trees around there. I guess it's because so many songs have been written about apple trees, I don't know. But again, you want to select varieties that will grow well here, and that begins with the right rootstock. Now you can grow standard apples that are going to get really huge, or you could grow really dwarfing ones that might be on a Malling 6 rootstock or something like that, or Malling 9, but it's better to go with a semi-dwarf apple tree. And the reason for that is they're going to give you a balance of good characteristics on the varieties that you select. Malling 111 rootstock is our favorite, and the reason for that is it tolerates drought real well. It also is characteristically going to give you a good strong trunk. A lot of the super dwarfing varieties will snap off in high winds, and we certainly have no shortage of that here. So make sure you go with MM111 rootstock. Now, so far as varieties go, if you're one who will not consistently be on a spray schedule, then you might try one of the disease-resistant varieties such as Liberty. Liberty is one of those varieties that is resistant to cedar apple rust and other diseases, so if you're not on a rigorous fungicide program, that'd be a good one for you. If you don't intend to spray at all, you might as well fess up to it and think about growing a variety that's well adapted for here but has hard fruit that resists insect pressure, and that would be Arkansas Black. We featured that earlier this summer on Oklahoma Gardening, and it's one that as you go into fall turns a deep burgundy color. It's one of the last apples to be harvested, and really once it's in cold storage it doesn't mellow up and have outstanding flavor until February or March. So that's a good keeping apple that you might consider. Now, peaches are probably the last on our list, as well as other stone fruits, for good care in the garden but still requiring plenty of attention to get good fruit. Among the stone fruits, I want to mention first off though on cherries. If you want to grow a pie cherry that's going to stay small in size, be easy to pick, and easy to put netting over, you might try North Star. North Star is a dwarf pie cherry that is very well adapted to here. I've had good experiences with that in eastern Oklahoma, and I know people in north central Oklahoma that have also been able to grow it quite well. So far as sweet cherries go, they do okay here, but you might want to select ones that are what we call crack resistant, because around harvest time the fruit will consistently crack open if we're into rainy weather, and you may get botrytis and other molds growing in there that causes rotting of the fruit. So far as apricots go, here's another stone fruit that requires a rigorous spray schedule to make sure it doesn't die from borers and other infestations of insects, but you might want to go with Tilton variety or others that are adapted for here. Now let's talk a little bit about plums. There are several plum varieties that do well here. One is AU Roadside, another one is Morris. They're well adapted. And then on peaches, your main criteria for picking peaches here is to make sure that they are resistant to bacterial leaf spot, peach leaf curl possibly, and some other diseases as well. And most catalogs, if they carry those varieties, will brag about it because that helps you keep on a low spray schedule with your fruit trees. Varieties such as Candor, New Haven, and Belle of Georgia are all consistent producers in the home garden, and those are some peaches that you might try. The last thing I want to mention about peaches is make sure the rootstock they are on is either Halford or Lovell, and the reason for that is that they are adapted to our hot, moist soils. We had an unfortunate incident a few years ago in Oklahoma with a small orchard that was planted entirely to rootstocks that are adapted to Michigan soils, and the peach trees died once the heat of summer hit. So make sure you choose the proper rootstock to get a good underfooting on that peach. Well, I hope this will give you some tips on planting an orchard this year. As you look through a lot of the catalogs, really take some time to study them because they are an excellent source of information. A lot of times they have planting plans in them. They'll recommend a rootstock for your area, and take some time to pick ones that are recommended for the south or south central states. If you have a chance, stop by the county extension office and pick up our home fruit planting guide. This has an entire listing of the varieties we discussed. It also mentions the spacings, possible mention of rootstocks, and last of all, we'll be emailing to our county agents a list of mail order sources of fruit trees, so you can go to your local nursery or garden center, ask them what varieties they'll be carrying this spring, and if they don't have ones that are on your list, show them that list of sources and possibly they could get some in for you this spring so you can get your fruit orchard off to a right start.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.